Hey, Wings fans, God bless you all, and welcome back to another edition of Wings Weekly. It's the third installment of the 25-26 edition of our weekly coaches show. And joining us once again for the first half of the program is the head coach and general manager of the Aberdeen Wings, Scott Langer. Coach, thank you again for taking the time to join me here today as we're going to recap the 2025 NAHL Showcase from Blaine, Minnesota. Last week, we'll start with game one from Wednesday evening. Aberdeen trails early in the second, 1-0 off a Wisconsin goal, but 15 seconds later, the Wings tie it up from veteran forward Matthew Martin. Owen Pitters gives the Wings the lead in the third, and huge shout out to Wings defenseman Briggs Orr for taking a hit at the Aberdeen bench to set up Pitters with the eventual game winner, and Taven James clinching the game with an empty net goal for the 3-1 victory for the Wings against the Wendigo. Adam Dyball gets the start in net, has a very solid performance, making 29 saves off of 30 shots faced. Coach, what are your thoughts on the team's performance there to open the showcase against Wisconsin on Wednesday?
Yeah, well, there's always jitters in that first game. There's a lot of hype on the showcase game, so I think guys get gripping their sticks a little bit, and we ended up going down. But again, we get a veteran guy like Martin that puts us right back where we need to be quickly. And then I thought in the second period and in the third period we played really good hockey, and we got that game winner, which was huge. And it's always nice to start the showcase off on a positive note. Obviously, especially with having a day off on Thursday, that'd be a long day without taking points in that first game.
You mentioned it, Coach. Aberdeen had an off day on Thursday before returning to action on Friday evening versus the United States National Team Development Program. The under-17 squad led the entire game. They held 2-0 lead into the final period, but the Wings wouldn't go away quietly as Owen Pitters found the back of the rope with a power play goal to make it a 2-1 game. Ultimately, Team USA holds on for the 1-goal victory. Adam Dyball gets his second start of the showcase, stopping 19 of 21 shots from the Americans as Aberdeen unfortunately suffers its first defeat of the season. Personally, I thought the boys played really well, Coach. The under-17 club just made a couple more plays, which made the difference at the end. How would you dissect that 60 minutes of game action versus Team USA?
Yeah, I thought, you look at the chances and the shots. Well, we outchanced them, we outshot them. Obviously, they have a lot of skill there. They found a way to put two back there. But, you look at our effort. From drop to end of the game, we were getting after it. And they're a good hockey team. I'll tell you this, you got to take your hat off to that goaltender they have. I think he's going to see some time in the National Hockey League at some point in his career. He was good. We had some breakaways, we had some posts, we had some really good opportunities, but we just couldn't find a way to get over them. But I love the effort. I certainly like the effort, and I tell these guys all the time is you might lose some hockey games, but you're not going to get outworked, and that was an example of that.
Completely agree. Shifting to Saturday afternoon, the Aberdeen Wings close out the 2025 NHL Showcase schedule against the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. Looking to end the event on a positive note. Once again, Aberdeen trails by a goal heading into the second period, but that doesn't rattle the boys one bit as the Wings offense finds the back of the net 3 times in the middle frame with goals from Brody Dustin, John Sparry-Lieben, and a power play tally from Sam Scheetz, who we'll talk to later on in the program. Fairbanks ended up scoring to get within a goal. Wings lead 3-2 after 40 minutes of regulation. That's as close as Fairbanks would get. Aberdeen would tack on 2 more insurance goals in the third, one from Matthew Martin and an empty net goal by Charlie Birchfield, seals the 5-2 Wings victory over Fairbanks. An impressive response from the group in that final game against the final game in the showcase against Fairbanks. Coach, what did you see in that victory on Saturday?
Yeah, slow start. Slow start. They had one go off a shin pad, found the way in the back of the net. Obviously, with that, they were, they found some energy, and they were doing a really good job changing sides in the offensive zone. And then, we came out in the second, we made some adjustments against it, and I thought our guys were really good. And we spent a lot of time in the offensive zone, which that's part of our identity right now is we have the ability to protect pucks and get guys to good spots in that offensive zone, and we wear down opponents. So obviously the result in that game was great. You come out of there with 4 points out of 6. I think you have to be somewhat happy with that, based on the competition level of the showcase.
Absolutely. Coach, you mentioned it, the team was kind of getting off to some slow starts there. And when you mentioned it on previous installments of Wings Weekly, that's something the team's currently working on. How do you focus on that during the week in practice to try to get better and start off these games faster?
Well, I think there's not a lot more to do than to keep touching on it and talking about it. And to me, starting a hockey game and being ready when the puck goes down is mental. It's what you do to take care of yourself before the game, and when you go through your process, you have to understand that the biggest part of what you're going to do next is you got to start on time. And yeah, we've had some slow starts, through the course of this early part of the season, but we've improved in a lot of other areas. So there's no reason for me to believe that we can't, improve in that area.
The Wings win 2 of 3 matchups at the National Sports Center in Blaine, Minnesota. Aberdeen currently possessing a 4-1 record. Coach, through 5 games in the regular season, obviously a very short sample size, but how are you feeling about this group here coming into this weekend against St. Cloud?
Yeah, well, I like our group. I like our leadership. I like our locker room. I like the way the guys get together. I like the way the guys enjoy winning hockey games. I certainly early on have liked their compete and work ethic. It shows when you go down goals, but you fight your way back and you end up winning hockey games. So, I mean, I like the group. I haven't been shy about telling people that. I like what's in our locker room. So obviously we need a big week of preparation and to be ready to go because, I was watching St. Cloud there during the showcase and they look good. They look like a real fast, quality, skilled hockey team like they normally are. So we have to be ready to go.
Coach, I wanted to talk a little bit about the team's scoring depth. In that final game in the showcase against Fairbanks, there were 5 different goal scorers. Can you just speak at how the veterans and rookies are making their presence on the score sheet and how important that balance of scoring is across the roster?
I think you look over the years, our team's kind of been like that. We score by committee. Everybody has the ability to score. We don't rely on just one guy to put up 100 points to bring us to the promised land. When we work on our game in practice, everybody's getting the opportunities to score goals and contribute. So I don't think it would be any different in the games. And obviously, the deeper you are, the more depth you can score from, the better odds you're going to win a game. So, we built this team this year and we always try to build a team with depth. We have all 4 of our lines contributing, in our games. So I think that's how you beat teams. You run them out of gas and you try to out-depth them.
The Wings have veteran stability with Adam Dyball and Willem Braun in between the pipes as well this year, and it's been a rotation for the returning netminders as to who will start on a particular night. Coach, what goes into your decision about who starts in net when you have 2 exceptional and veteran goaltenders, and will it continue to be a rotation as the season goes along?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything specific. I think we work with our goalie coach, we work with our staff, we try to figure out who we're playing, but these 2 guys have made it really hard. I mean, we spend a lot of time on, trying to figure out who should go, and they've done a great job. Willie's come back in great shape. He's practicing really, really hard, and you got Dybel that pushes him as well, and they're a good tandem. And I think obviously every goalie wants the net all the time. That's just what a goalie does. But in our case, we were able to recruit 2 high-end goaltenders that we expect to finish in the top of the league, and those guys are going to earn their games. And right now we can put someone in on Friday and utilize the other guy on Saturday and be just as confident, with either of them.
Last question here for you, Coach. Now putting the showcase in the rearview mirror, the Aberdeen Wings host the St. Cloud Norsemen back at home inside the Odde Ice Center on Friday and Saturday night. Wings faced the Norsemen in a home-and-home series back in the preseason, but the Norsemen are expected to have a different looking lineup compared to the exhibition series a few weeks ago, and I'm sure they'll be ready to play and ready to go this weekend. What are the biggest keys, Coach, for success to come out with 2 more victories just like the Wings did in the preseason against St. Cloud?
Yeah, I think it starts with our work week. I think it starts there. You have to have a good practice on Tuesday, and you got to build up into your game on Friday. And for us, we worry about ourselves. So we need to be ready to go when that puck drops, because St. Cloud competes and they can really skate as a team. So, we have to just bring our game and be confident in what we're bringing to the table. And I think, if we bring it, we have good odds of winning the hockey game. That's just how I feel about our team right now. And, we're not going to change much going into the series, so they'll know us well, and, we'll know them well. So, I just think it's going to be a great game.
And that's the head coach and general manager of the Aberdeen Wings, Scott Winger, recapping the 2025 NAHL Showcase from Blaine, Minnesota, and providing his insight before the weekend series here on home ice against the St. Cloud Norsemen. Coach, thank you again for joining me here on Wings Weekly.
Thanks, Si.
And coming up after the break, we'll talk with the newest forward for the Aberdeen Wings, Sam Scheetz. He has 3 goals and 3 assists in 5 games to start the year for Aberdeen. Keep it right here, Wings fans. We'll be right back after the break.
Pro Ag Supply leads the game with channel seed, liquid fertilizer, and tanks. With 3 generations of family service, we've spent over 40 years growing relationships with your family. So whether it's game day or planting day, Pro Ag Supply and Channel Seed are by your side. Pro Ag Supply.
L&O Transport and Farm wants you. They're currently hiring Class A CDL truck drivers and farm operators. Experience preferred, but not necessary. L&O offers great benefits like a 401k, 100% health, and year-end bonuses. Pay depends on experience, but wages are very competitive. They run the newest late model equipment and take pride in what they do. L&O Acres and Transport is a family-run business. Come be part of the L&O family. Give them a call at 605-226-0732.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly, Wings fans, and joining us now on the back half of the program is newest forward for the Aberdeen Wings, number 19, Sam Scheetz. Sam, thank you so much for joining me here on the program here today.
Thanks for
before we get into the nuts and bolts of everything here, you've been in Aberdeen for a short stint now, 5 regular season games. How are you enjoying your time here in the Hub City, and what's it like playing in front of the fans at the Odde Ice Center?
It was a fun first weekend playing in front of the fans. They're pretty loud, and it was good to win on the home opener. And then, I've only been here for a short amount of time, but the guys have been awesome, and it's been fun to come to the rink every day.
What's it been like kind of adjusting to the locker room and the atmosphere here in Aberdeen?
Like I said, the guys are great, so they kind of just welcomed me in and kind of just accepted me in, and it's been good to build relationships and get to know everybody.
Wonderful. What's your training regimen like during the off season to help you get prepared for this 25-26 campaign?
Just working out, and then as well as skating, and then doing other off ice stuff, but also getting away from that, as well as enjoying, the weather, the lake, golfing. So I think mixing the training and also just getting away from both of it is good for you.
Of course. So you grew up in Victoria, Minnesota, right? Yep. What was like growing up in the state of hockey?
It was awesome. I mean, all my best friends are still playing hockey to this day. So it's good to always have people to talk to about hockey if you have a bad game or have any questions. And just also to, you create all your friends and relationships through the sport. So it's been pretty fun.
Right. What are the most important life lessons you've learned so far, and what's the most helpful piece of advice you have received from anyone?
I think just always bring effort every day and hard work. I think one day doesn't define you, and you always got to move on, and that's in the past. And don't take any day for granted, and just try and get 1% better every day.
Completely agree with that. If you had to give a word of advice to any of the other teammates, including some of the other rookies that are in this locker room, what piece of advice would you give them?
That's just a long year, and that wherever you are right now in the lineup, or just how you're playing, it's a long season and anything can happen, and just work hard in practice.
Absolutely. What has your hockey journey been like? Can you tell me a little bit about what your hockey experiences have been like growing up, and what was the recruitment process like for you to come here in Aberdeen and end up in a Wings sweater?
So I played growing up for my local town, and then for high school I played for Minnetonka High School. Last 2 seasons I've been playing for the Omaha Lancers as well. And then this year, Coach Langer, we talked on the phone a few times, and he was kind of telling me about Aberdeen, and I knew a few guys on the team, so it kind of felt like the right fit, and it's been pretty good so far.
Awesome. Is there any real difference between playing in the USHL? I know you've only played 5 regular season games in the NA, but is there a big difference skating up in the USHL now down here in the NAHL?
I don't think there's that big of a difference. I think for me, it was just kind of me adjusting to my teammates, my line mates, and just creating plays out there and stuff.
Of course. So you, like I mentioned, 5 games through the regular season here. You made a definite impact on the score sheet already. 3 goals and 3 assists through 5 games. How comfortable are you feeling on the ice with your line mates and just acclimating to the rink here in Aberdeen?
Like I said, my line mates have made a pretty easy adjustment for me. And when I'm out there, I'm just trying to play hockey, make plays, and playing offense is better than playing defense. So I think it's pretty fun when your line's, producing and scoring goals. So hopefully we can do that this weekend.
This is kind of an off-the-cuff question here. I don't have this typed up, but I just thought of it a second ago. What's something that I should know about you that not a lot of people know that you're willing to share with me?
Fun fact?
Yeah.
I was born on Thanksgiving. Well,
okay.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's a good
So that's
fun
a lot
fact.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, final question here for you, Sam. St. Cloud coming to town here this weekend at the Odde Ice Center. You mentioned it. You were here for the home opener against Watertown. You excited to get back in front of the home fans once again? And what are going to be the biggest keys to success for the Wings this weekend to pick up a couple W's against the Norsemen?
I think just have a great week of practice and just kind of do what we do during the games. Don't really need to switch anything. I think if we play our game and like Coach said, have a better start though, I think it'll be a good weekend.
Sam, thank you again for joining me here
Thank you.
on Wings Weekly. Coming up here on Friday and Saturday night, folks, Wings are back at home inside the Odde Ice Center against St. Cloud Friday, October 3rd. Game sponsor is presented by BAE Systems. Free Kids Friday, so kids 12 and under get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket at the Lincoln Repair Aberdeen Wings box office located inside the Odde Ice Center. And then the next evening, Saturday, October 4th, to conclude the weekend homestand versus the St. Cloud Norsemen, $12 corporate bar stools, and it's college night as well. So college students, show your college ID at the Lincoln Repair Aberdeen Wings box office and get a $10 general admission ticket. Doors open at 5:30. Puck drops at 7:15 p.m. both nights. If you can't make it to the game, you can listen to me, Cy Evnuk, new voice of the Aberdeen Wings, on 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or the Rock app. Or if you have a subscription, you can listen with the video and audio as well at NAHLTV.com. All tickets can be purchased at tickets.aberdeenwings.com at all C Express locations in the Hub City. Or again, you can purchase tickets at the Lincoln Repair Aberdeen Wings box office. Sponsorships and reserve season tickets are available right now for the 25-26 season. Call team president Aaron Smith at 605-380-5852 or email Ryan at media@aberdeenwings.com for more information. And for all the latest news and info on the Aberdeen Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. That'll wrap it up on Wings Weekly, folks. Again, home weekend versus the St. Cloud Norsemen on Friday and Saturday, and we'll be back for episode 4, Wings Weekly, next week. See you later, Wings fans.